Welcome to Dark Depths Archive, where the forgotten voices of history rise from the mist and the sea. I am your guide into the unknown. Today, we sail with the Vikings, raiders, explorers, and the founders of nations. From the frozen fjords of Scandinavia, a fierce seafaring people emerged in the late 8th century. Driven by ambition, overpopulation, and the promise of wealth, they launched their dragon-headed longships into the unknown. In 793, the peaceful monastery of Lindisfarne trembled as Viking raiders struck without mercy, marking the dawn of the Viking Age. Churches and monasteries fell first, easy targets filled with gold, silver, and undefended treasures. The Vikings were not mindless barbarians. They were master shipbuilders, skilled navigators, and fearless warriors. Their longships could slice through waves, sail up shallow rivers, and strike deep inland with terrifying speed. Danes, Norwegians, and Swedes each played their role, warriors, explorers, and traders who reached as far as Constantinople. They stormed Britain and Ireland, establishing the Danelaw and founding cities like Dublin and York. In France, Viking leader Rollo made a deal with the king and founded Normandy, land of the Northmen. From Normandy came William the Conqueror, whose 1066 victory at Hastings changed England forever. But the Vikings were also bold explorers who pushed beyond the known world. They settled Iceland, then braved the icy Atlantic to reach Greenland under Eric the Red. Leif Erikson, son of Eric, sailed even further and became the first European to set foot in North America centuries before Columbus. They called it Vinland, a land of grapes and timber, though their settlement there was short-lived. The Vikings traded furs, amber, and slaves along the rivers of Russia, reaching the rich markets of Byzantium. Some served as elite Varangian guards for the Byzantine emperors, their axes feared across the empire. Over time, many Vikings traded swords for plows, adopting Christianity and blending with local cultures. By the 11th century, the Viking Age gradually faded as kingdoms stabilized and new powers rose. Yet their legacy endures in language, law, seafaring spirit, and the bloodlines of modern nations across Europe and beyond. The Vikings were raiders who became rulers, explorers who connected continents, and warriors who helped birth the nations we know today. The seas still whisper their sagas, and the world still feels their impact. We march with the legions through the glory, conquest, and ultimate collapse of the Roman Empire. From humble beginnings as a small city on the Tiber River, Rome grew into the greatest power the ancient world had ever known. In 27 BC, Octavian, later known as Augustus, became the first emperor, ending the Republic and ushering in centuries of imperial rule. At its height, the empire stretched from Britain in the west to the deserts of Mesopotamia in the east, from the Rhine to the sands of North Africa. Roman legions, disciplined and ruthless, conquered vast territories through superior tactics, engineering, and sheer willpower. They built straight roads that still endure, aqueducts that carried water for miles, and monumental cities filled with forums, temples, and amphitheaters. The Colosseum hosted gladiatorial games that entertained hundreds of thousands, while emperors like Trajan expanded the empire to its greatest extent. Yet beneath the marble and gold, cracks began to form. Political corruption, civil wars, and overexpansion strained the vast territories. In the 3rd century, crisis struck. Plagues, inflation, and barbarian invasions pushed Rome to the brink. Emperor Diocletian divided the empire into east and west to make it easier to rule, but the split only delayed the inevitable. In 410 AD, the Visigoths under Alaric sacked the city of Rome itself, a shocking blow that echoed across the known world. Further invasions by Vandals, Huns, and other tribes overwhelmed the weakening legions. Economic collapse, heavy taxation, and the rise of Christianity transformed Roman society from within. Finally, in 476 AD, the last Western Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus, was deposed by the Germanic king Odoacer. The once mighty Western Empire fell, while the Eastern Empire continued as Byzantium for another 1,000 years. Yet Rome's legacy never truly died. Its laws, language, engineering, and governance still shape our modern world. The Roman Empire rose through ambition and military genius, conquered with iron discipline, and collapsed under the weight of its own success and external pressures. Its ruins still stand as silent witnesses to both glory and downfall.
From the banks of the mighty Nile, one of the most extraordinary civilizations in human history emerged more than 5,000 years ago. Ancient Egypt rose as a unified kingdom under the first pharaohs, who were believed to be living gods ruling with divine authority. The Nile River was the lifeblood of Egypt. Its annual floods brought rich black soil that allowed abundant crops and sustained a powerful society. Pharaohs like Khufu commanded the construction of monumental wonders. The Great Pyramid of Giza, built around 2580 BC, stood as the tallest structure on Earth for nearly 4,000 years. Hundreds of thousands of skilled workers, not slaves, labored with astonishing precision, using ramps, levers, and sheer organization to place over 2 million stone blocks. Inside the pyramids lay elaborate burial chambers designed to protect the pharaoh's body and possessions for the afterlife. The Egyptians developed a complex religion centered on the journey to the afterlife. They mummified the dead with great care, removing organs and wrapping bodies in linen to preserve them for eternity. Golden death masks, amulets, and treasures accompanied the deceased, as seen in the nearly intact tomb of Tutankhamun, discovered in 1922. Daily life in ancient Egypt was surprisingly advanced. Farmers worked the fields, artisans crafted beautiful jewelry and pottery, and scribes recorded everything in elegant hieroglyphs. Women enjoyed more rights than in many other ancient societies. They could own property, run businesses, and even serve as pharaohs like the powerful Hatshepsut. Egyptian medicine was remarkably sophisticated. Doctors performed surgeries, set broken bones, and used herbal remedies, while mathematics and astronomy helped them align pyramids perfectly with the stars. At its peak, the new kingdom saw mighty pharaohs such as Ramses the Great expand the empire through military conquests and grand building projects like the temples of Abu Simbel. Yet even the greatest empires face decline. Foreign invasions, droughts, economic troubles and internal power struggles slowly weakened the civilization. By the time Alexander the Great arrived in 332 BC, Egypt had already passed its golden age, later becoming part of the Ptolemaic kingdom and eventually falling under Roman rule. Still, the mysteries endure. The pyramids continue to guard secrets, the Sphinx stares silently across the desert, and newly discovered tombs reveal more about this fascinating culture every year. From god-kings and towering monuments to everyday life along the Nile, ancient Egypt continues to captivate us with its blend of grandeur, spirituality, and human ingenuity. The sands of time have buried much, but the legacy of the pharaohs still whispers through the ages.
Deep in the dense jungles of Mesoamerica, a brilliant civilization flourished for over 2,000 years before mysteriously vanishing. The ancient Maya built towering pyramid temples that pierced the rainforest canopy, creating sophisticated cities with advanced astronomy, mathematics, and writing. At its peak during the Classic period, powerful city-states like Tikal, Palenque, and Calakmul competed for dominance, each ruled by god-kings who traced their bloodlines to the stars. The Maya developed one of the most accurate calendars in human history, a complex system tracking time across millions of years, predicting eclipses and cosmic cycles with astonishing precision. They perfected a writing system of intricate hieroglyphs carved into stone monuments and painted on bark paper codices that recorded history, rituals, and royal achievements. Magnificent pyramid temples served as both sacred centers and astronomical observatories, aligned perfectly with the movements of the sun, moon, and Venus. In the heart of these cities, ball courts hosted ritual games where players competed in a sacred sport that symbolized the struggle between life and death. Skilled artisans created stunning jade masks, colorful murals, and elaborate ceramics, while farmers engineered raised fields and terraced hillsides to feed growing populations. Yet beneath the grandeur, tensions grew. Constant warfare between rival city-states drained resources and weakened alliances. Around the 9th century, a devastating collapse began. Many great cities were suddenly abandoned, their pyramids swallowed by the jungle. Severe droughts, possibly triggered by deforestation and climate shifts, devastated agriculture and triggered widespread famine. Overpopulation, environmental degradation, and intense political instability turned thriving metropolises into silent ruins almost overnight. Some Maya people migrated north to the Yucatan, where cities like Chichen Itza continued to thrive for centuries with new influences. Others simply faded back into the jungle, leaving behind empty palaces, broken stelae, and unanswered questions. Today, the forgotten cities of the Maya still guard their secrets. LiDAR technology is revealing vast networks of roads, reservoirs, and previously unknown settlements hidden beneath the dense canopy. The Maya calendar continues to fascinate us, and their sophisticated understanding of astronomy and mathematics remains a testament to human ingenuity. From soaring pyramids rising above the jungle to the mysterious collapse that silenced a once great civilization, the Maya remind us how fragile even the most advanced societies can be. Their legacy endures in the descendants who still speak Mayan languages and preserve ancient traditions amid the ruins.
The jungle has reclaimed much, but the echoes of the Maya gods and kings still whisper through the mist-shrouded temples.